I love to open new packages. There will be the latest information on the top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me and Coach Raquel, and it is a passion project for me, so I'm so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Season 3, episode 38.
Don't call me motherfucking trying to talk to me, find out some shit, talk about some gossip. Don't call me with no bad news. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't calling me to uplift me, if you ain't calling me to I'm not 911, I'm not in the mood, don't call me unless there's some love on the other end of the phone. Matter of fact, I'm working. I don't want nobody to call me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do them. And
welcome to the show. Oh my goodness, we just finished filming episode 38 and we unboxed my water filter, this oil that I use on my face, and another thing. It was 3 items in our package, and we also shared some consumer tips with you. I'm Coach Raquel. Thank you for joining the show. We just did it. We completed it. Episode 38. Let's get into the show.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Raquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.
So it's a new day. It is a new day. And it's about to be a new month. How are you? How has your days been unfolding? Because it is my hope that you actually had a really, really good day. You deserve to have a good day. You deserve to have good days, good weeks, good years. There's a new month about to be, we're about to enter a new month. And we want to make sure that we are prepared for it. Are you prepared for the new month? Yeah, are you ready? What has stretched you recently? Like, what has really inspired, motivated, caused you to like stop, pause, and rebuild? You know, readjust, reset, refocus, recalibrate. Right? What has done that for you? Has anything done that for you? And remember, this should be happening on a regular basis. I think at least once for the week, something should cause you to reset, readjust, because you're supposed to be growing, and that's an indication of growth. You're having to reset, readjust. You know, you're not just in one position and not moving. No, growth suggests and requires readjustment, recalibration, refocusing, reset. So make sure that you are not, in a state of complacency. So it is my hope that you are adjusting well to your growth and advancement and acceleration into whatever it is that you're building and growing and hoping to become. Yeah. Well, for me, you know, I know I've been going through something. I don't quite know what it is. This is it for me, right? Now that I'm at a place of contentment, because I'm very content. I'm content. Sometimes it's difficult for me to identify. I feel like I'm going through this process of emotional maturity and growth. Like, I feel like I've been doing this assessment of myself, and I'm like, I don't think you're emotionally strong. I don't think I'm emotionally strong, or I don't think I'm as emotionally strong as I would want to be. Let me put it that way. And so, entering this new month, my new reset is building on emotional strength, moving with wisdom emotionally. Yeah, that's what I'm working on, because I feel like I've had so much growth, especially in the area of love and my relationship with God and all of that. And I feel like now it requires of me to stretch my emotional strength, the bandwidth of my emotional intelligence and my emotional strength, because I find that I'm having a lot of conversations with myself like, girl, what are you doing? When you made that move, did it build your self-esteem or did it hurt your self-esteem? So I'm learning how to navigate the love space. I'm learning how to navigate care, but caring for others, but not putting myself in a position where my caring and my loving and my kindness leaves me feeling harms my self-esteem, leaves me feeling like, why are you begging? Why are you forcing? Why are you, is this something this thing you're investing in, your emotions in? Does it have return on investment? Is it worthy of it? Because one of the things I'm learning is, well, not learning, but I'm being reminded of is, first of all, it's okay to love, it's okay to care, it's okay to share, it's okay to do all of those things. But everything should be done in moderation and in wisdom. And I think that if you're doing something and that thing makes you feel discomfort, I was going to say discomfort in any way, you should not do it. Well, let me change it. I don't like to speak like that. I'm never telling you what to do. But I was going to say that, but I changed that. It's not that discomfort is not a bad thing, because sometimes we should be in discomfort, and we shouldn't be seeking, oh, I need to be comfortable. But your integrity, your self-respect, your self-esteem, whenever those start being impacted in any way, if you sense that, that thing right there kind of made me, anything that makes you, that affects those things, you should have to rethink it and re-strategize around it, right? And I know that one of the challenges I have is that I like to have information and I like to have clarity, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, because how else do you move if you have no information or insight, whatever, right? And then we'll say, okay, but you should have faith. Yeah, I want to have faith, but I want to have faith with wisdom, And so for me, I feel like some things, give it silence and leave it alone, then leave it to faith. Don't participate, and let faith take it where it wants it to go. I am thankful for the challenges that I have, and I would never trade them for anything else in the world. I'm okay with my challenges, Lord. My pains, I'm good with them. I'm good with them. I'm not asking you to take them away. I'm just asking you to have your way. I just want God to have his way, but I'm not asking for a change in my challenges and whatever I have. I'm balanced and I'm good with them. I love my pains, and my pains are my joy. And yeah, I am just humbled and thankful and giving thanks. I am grateful. I am blessed and I'm grateful. Okay. Yes. So last week I started talking about stewardship. And I just want to say a little bit on that again. Stewardship and self-honesty. What I like to say? Stewardship and your truth. Your truth. I just want us to be in the mindfulness of stewardship, boundaries, and what happens when emotion overrides structure. You see, I was talking to you about I need to work on my emotions because, for example, right, even one of the things too that I've also been going through is restructuring in the area of my own self-discipline, where in interacting with my clients, my systems and stuff like that, I realized that I was breaching my own policies. I was breaching my own systems. And I realized that if I continue to do so, I'm going to land in some serious issues because I'm building habits that I won't be able to sustain long term. And as I talk about how I realize how busy I am and how much I've been overextending myself, and I realize that we have to structure all of this, make sure we're honoring self, right? So as I'm about to share this, I want us all, including myself, because I'm listening to it too, to remember to be good stewards of yourself, your gift, your commitments, and what you've been given by God to be steward over, right? So it's about stewardship and truth. And remember that dishonor is not always rebellion. Sometimes it's neglect. Do not neglect yourself. Or you have to ask yourself, what am I neglecting? What am I neglecting to do? So here are some points I'd like for you to consider, right? We say we want growth. Yes? We say we want ownership. We say we want elevation. But are we honoring what we've already been entrusted with? You know, sometimes we think what we've been given is not enough. Or sometimes I think sometimes as I listen to people, sometimes it's like we don't even know that we've already been given something to steward over because we are so focused on what we want to acquire that we neglect that which we've already acquired. For example, your person. How are you taking care of yourself? Are you organized? Are you structured? Are you disciplined? You're asking for more. If based on how you're self-caring right now, based on your level of self-care, can you handle a six-figure project and still thrive and give and deliver longevity to your clients and deliver quality to your clients and deliver good service or even service at all? Because I've experienced where persons get clients and don't even know they have a client. They don't know, they're not interacting with the clients at all. They don't do anything for the clients. It's just there. Passive doesn't mean you don't have responsibilities. Passive still means you deliver your service. What services are you delivering to clients? If you have people paying you, are you thinking about those people? Because you can also upsell to clients, but that's a whole other thing, right? So a lot of the times we're asking for more, but is it because you want more, or is it because you don't know what to do with what you already have? So because you don't know what to do with what you already have, you're seeking more. I don't remember if it was last week I gave the example about when I was drinking the water, my body needed water, but I didn't know, so I kept giving it more food, snacking, when what my body needed was water. What you have right now, do you need more, or do you need to learn how to use or leverage what you already have? Do you really need more, or do you just need to learn how to leverage what you already have? Think about it, right? Remember, you won't be able to maximize on what you have or fully leverage what you have if you're not studying your own business and your customers. Every single person who's paying you right now, even if they're just paying you $1, what are the opportunities there? What are the strengths, the weaknesses, the threats, right? Also, ignoring systems built for you, you know? I love my clients. I really do. But I also learn so much from them. Like I had an experience with a client where the client was asking me stuff, and I made one ask, and I still haven't even gotten a response to that. And you know what? That's not even just one client. I have clients sometimes I've had clients who, not necessarily with me, but with my team, just completely ignore what they ask, or just go on and do what you want to do. Let me tell you something. You're not hurting anybody else. When you dishonor what you're steward over, or when you dishonor your team, or when you treat your team like you didn't hear them, or when you did not hear them, or when you miss their communication, you're not hurting them. This is your business. And the one thing I practice is, no matter how a client or one of my customers operate, our service quality never changes. Our thoughtfulness and consideration for our clients never changes, never waver. And so I was having a conversation with a client not so long ago, and she said to me, she said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that, because your behavior didn't change. Like, I didn't know I missed something, because you're so pleasant. You still, I see what you're doing for my thing. I see it's growing, whatever." And so I said to her, I said, when I made my commitment to serve you, I knew I was serving a person, and I made the commitment with myself that I'm not going to be impacted, or rather how I serve will not be impacted or influenced based on how you treat me. And that's a decision I made when it comes to my relationships, not just business. But once I'm in a relationship, which is why I don't have too many relationships, because I have to manage them all. But one of the things I trained myself in the last 3 years is love because you love. Serve because you serve. No matter what the other person does, of course, be in the mindfulness of how they're operating, but never cause that to misguide how you serve. Remain who you are, no matter how or who someone else is being and how they're showing up, right? The way, for example, if a client does something that I don't like, it will not reflect in my courtesy. It will not reflect in my quality of work. If anything, what I would do is tighten my boundaries. I would tighten up on my policies, right? So where I would once be loose, I won't be loose anymore. Where I was loose is such a what a term, but where I was like free, I won't be free anymore. I become more strict with my boundaries and my policies. But my quality of service, my thoughts and my views of you, they don't change. They don't change because I understand the bigger picture. So what she was saying is she didn't even realize that when she didn't do what she was meant to do, which I highlighted because I wasn't giving her task. I'm not a leader. I'm a support system, and it was ignored. It didn't affect me or my work. And so because in what she was saying is she didn't see, for example, if you pay the taxi and the taxi comes upset, you're kind of, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. But she's saying she didn't see any change in my behavior. She didn't see any change in, so she just thought, oh, it's okay. So I had to let her know, I'm here to serve you, and I serve with pleasure, and pleasure is always going to be present. And the moment there's no pleasure in serving you, the response you get from me is a resignation. I would separate. But once I remain serving you, the quality of my work won't change. And if you don't do what you need to do, then it's your business that suffer. It doesn't affect me because I just make sure that what I'm supposed to be doing gets done. So if I highlight something for you that I say, hey, I see this little vulnerability right here, or what did you do so and so, or something to be done. For example, the client that I say, can we get the link? I got no link. I leave it right there. I move on Because what you communicate to me when you ignore what I'm asking or what I'm requesting is you say to me, if you move on, you tell me, okay, that's not so important. It's not relevant. So we can move on. So I move on with you. It doesn't hurt me, doesn't harm me. And I keep doing my job. You know what I mean? There was a time when I'd be impacted. No, I said it. I no longer want it more than you do. So I only take steps when you take steps. You stop walking, I disappear. That's what I tell my clients, So are you ignoring the systems that have been built for you? Because you're the only one, your business is the only one that will feel the impact, right? Complaining about time while mismanaging it. Now, support. So here's some thoughts for you to be mindful of. Support doesn't work if you refuse to participate. Support doesn't work if you refuse to participate. So this is the question I would like for us to ask ourselves. Are we asking for miracles, or are we preparing for maturity? Are we asking for miracles or preparing for maturity? That's something I'd like for us to ask ourselves, right? So now we're going to I'm going to be sharing one of my poems with you. Share one of my poems from my book, Poetic Emotions. The thing in my head is like, no, not that. A prayer. Do I want to read one of the prayers? There's a prayer. You know what? I'm going to share the quote of it. There's a quote in this book, my book, Prayers. I'm going to see if I can find it after reading the poem, and then I'll share it with you. So this is the one I'm going to share. It's called Life. Life. That's the title of the poem. Life is not a bed of roses. It is a sea of ice, with sharks lurking around each corner, masquerading charms as lies. Life is not a bed of roses. It is a pool of darkness, with ghosts of past and present lives hankering your soul to digest. Life is like a den, gnarls blaring from all angles. It's a constant battle, except no shield, so you get entangled. Where life can be meaningful and pure is through the eyes and heart of a child, but with age and experience, the world only grows wild. Life grieves the innocence lost as childhood fades into the past, and hopes through growth shatter ever so fast. So then, where is the balance we seek, even as we struggle to survive? Understanding and love, forgiveness and hope, we fight to keep alive. Through faith in those your mind allows trust, and those your heart can carry. Each day you bravely journey with that one who makes you smile without worry. A heart that embraces all your flaws, that keeps you safe through the darkest hours. That love secures you from all fears and keeps you afloat in your sea of sorrows. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. All right. Interesting. That was interesting. That's all I can say. It was interesting. I'm like, huh? Okay. I feel like I want to read it like 10 more times, There's a quote I want to share with you. I found it. This is in my book, Prayers. Prayers for wealth. That's the topic. And it reads, that's the theme. Help us to be strong so that we may walk in your truth to possess the rewards, God, which you have prepared for us. That's what it says. And the reason that touches me so much, because to be honest with you, when I wrote it, I wasn't even thinking about it. I already talked about how I wrote that book in another episode. When I really think back on it and I realize that, really and truly, that's such a powerful thought, because if you're not in truth, you really cannot even come in the presence of the wealth that's there for you. You have to that's why I say separate honesty from truth, because when I talk about truth, I'm talking about your personal experience with a thing, or in an experience, or your personal experience, your personal thoughts. So for example, I may say, okay, the difference between being politically correct and authentic is what I'm talking about. What is really, really true for you, whether or not the world understands. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're now going to go to our ASMR moment. Let's go. Wow. Wasn't that beautiful?
Gospel Foundation International Healing Ministries is a Bible-based ministry. Through worship, prayer, and deliverance, we help individuals find restoration. We equip believers to build stronger families and healthier communities. Footprints of Faith Radio shares real stories of healing and hope. Bible Talk for Children helps kids develop strong moral foundations. Apply for sponsored digital advancement support for growing your reach. Your support makes this possible. We're aiming for a $500 monthly goal. Support, partner, or give today at gfihministries.org/give. To Unboxing Solutions, where we unwrap more than packages, we unwrap possibility. Every tool you see is chosen with care, purpose, and real-life use in mind. If what you create deserves to be opened, explored, and put to work, this is that space.
So welcome back to Unbox Solutions with me. This is episode 37, and this is where we don't just open packages, we open perspectives, okay? And today we're unboxing a few everyday essentials with purpose. And the first thing we're unboxing is, let me see how this looks. Okay, so the first thing that we're unboxing is Brita Plus water filter replacement pack. Because clean water isn't luxury, it's infrastructure. Clean water is essential, okay? And so for me personally, I like filtered water. So yeah, so that's this Brita, right? Brita. Let's put it here for a moment so you can see it. And then the next one we have this Palmer's Coconut facial oil. I'm wearing it right now. I use it especially when I'm filming. Hydration meets glow. So this is what I use on my face. The only thing I use on my face. Well, it's not the only thing. Sometimes there's this other oil thing, but this is primarily what I use on my face. This is primarily what I use on my face. Yeah, coconut, Palmer's Coconut facial oil for a luminous glow. That's what it says anyway. That's what it says. Okay, let's stay right here. All right, and I just want you to see it. So let's put it right there. And then the third thing is Dabo and Shobo 48 color highlighter set, because clarity looks better in color. Well, woo, I did not 48 pieces, baby. Okay. So, and you can see, I just shared with you the items on Amazon, so you can see exactly what they look like. All right. So we're gonna open these now. I'm gonna open these now and show you what they look like. And then I have some. So wait, before I open these boxes, let me just share something with you. So let's pause for 3 smart consumer reminders for 2026. All right, so here are 3 tips that I'd like for you to consider before I rip these boxes open and show you what's inside. Right, so consumer tip number 1, check the seller, not just the product. With popular household brands, third-party seller scams are rising. With popular household brands, yes, third-party seller scams are rising. Always verify you're buying from the official brand or a highly rated authorized seller. And let me explain something to you with this. You see my burrito? This, I remember the first time I bought it, I don't think I actually bought the burrito. It was when I went back into my orders that I've already had, and I was going to reorder, right? And I was like, I actually bought filters that had no label, like, and I'm not saying that they're not good enough. I just don't want to buy them that way. But so I want to know what brand I'm buying for me personally. So I realized that for my water filters, I really had to be intentional about it, about getting the one I actually wanted, which is the one that is, from an official brand that I use. So I wanted to, and I'm not saying that Brita is the best or anything, and this is not sponsored or nothing. I'm just saying for me specifically, I wanted something from a brand that I can identify, and if I have an issue, I can get back to them, right? So consumer tip number 2, watch the return window. Return deadlines sneak up fast. Screenshot or calendar your eligibility date, especially for skincare and filters. Don't let policy timelines outpace your testing. And number 3, consumer tip number 3, read the fine print on claims. Reduces 2 times contaminants sounds powerful, but always check which contaminants. Marketing language shines. Details protect. So make sure what you think they're saying is what they're actually saying. Because around here, we don't just consume, we discern. And because I know I'm not very strong in the discernment area, I have to take extra precaution to pay attention to details and be intentional and mindful about what I'm doing. So let's now unbox these. So I've already showed you the Brita. Right? And this is the coconut hydrate facial oil. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So this is it, all right? And then when you open it, has, yeah, I really love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite products that I've bought. Love it, love it, love it. And you can see my face, right? That's all I have on my face right now. And I know this one, no, I never thought this was going to be so much. Like, this is the biggest box there. I'm like, okay. I didn't think. I mean, I saw the 48, but I don't know why I didn't think. I thought it was just like a packet or something. I should have got I have the box opener, but I never bring it. I never bring it in. Ah, there we go. Hear that pop. Of course, I have more. Well secured. All right, look at this. Ooh, look at that. Oh, they're in a bag. Oh, hang on here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Because when I'm reading, especially when I'm reading the Bible, I want to be able to highlight certain areas. I'm an interactive person. I want to highlight them so I can go back. So these are the highlighters. And even when I'm reading books, I like to be able to highlight them. Did I think I was getting this many highlighters? Like, seriously, Raquel, didn't you read it? This is a lot of highlighters, but I love them anyway. It's okay. I don't know that I had this much in mind. But it works. It's okay. Yeah, at least I got what I wanted, right? At least I got what I wanted. So I can't say I didn't get what I wanted, right? Because I got what I wanted. Yeah, all right. So it's now time for us to move on to our next segment. Let's go.
Strong organizations are built on more than strategy, they're built on people. At Human Impact Development Consulting, we help organizations strengthen leadership and support staff well-being. We put clear people systems in place that actually work. From HR advisory and policy development to leadership support, we cover it all. Our approach is practical, ethical, and people-centered. If ready for clarity, confidence, and sustainable impact, visit sandrinedunkley.com. Human Impact Development Consulting, where people systems meet performance. This is Free Money Wednesdays, where funding meets vision. Access becomes strategy, the fastest way to get attention. Apply for funding that lets them see your brand in motion. If you're building something worth backing, visibility starts here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Coach Raquel. Welcome to Free Money Wednesdays, where we don't chase money, we steward mission. That's what we do, all right? March 2026 is packed with serious funding across research, workforce development, museums, social services, renewable energy, and community impact. So let's move quickly. March 2026 grant listing. You're going to be watching this show, I think is at the 27th of April, of February. Oh my gosh, I'm at April. You're going to be watching this before the list comes out, but by the time this comes out on the March 1st, okay? So you'll be able to access all this information on my website at the link on the screen, mycoachministry.com/blog, okay? So it will be right there. I'm highlighting some for you. On March 1, when it's published, you can get it. And if you're not yet signed up, you need to go to my website and you need to subscribe so you get the alerts when the blogs come out. All right. So research and innovation, Harry Frank Guggenheim, or is it Guggenheim? African Fellow Awards, 10,000 Research Fellowship. The deadline for this is the 1st of March. Day one, baby. Day one. Oligo Talks Open Data Challenge, 500,000. The deadline is February 28th. Don't miss this one. Don't miss this one. And you'll see this before it happens. So make sure you get it. Complement RTP Prize 7 Million Innovation Challenge. If you're building knowledge, science, or global solutions, there is funding aligned. Then we have workforce and youth development. Youth Build, 98 million nationally. EOBB Workforce Training, 100,000. If you're training people, creating opportunity, or building pipelines, March is your month. Now, museums and cultural institutions, March 13 is major. IMLS programs include Museums for America, African American History and Culture grants, Latino History and Culture grants, Library Leadership grants. Awards range from $5,000 to $1 million. If you preserve stories, funders are investing in legacy. Social services and community impact. Human trafficking victim services up to 27.7 million. Community health and equity funds, national technical assistance programs, 24 million. If you serve vulnerable communities, funding is available. Now, energy and global innovation, EU cross-border renewable energy, 150 million euros total call. Energy Catalyst Round 11, between 50,000 and 300,000 euros. Innovation is being funded globally. Mindset reminder, and I want to change the graphic you're seeing right now. I'm sharing with you now some tips, 5 tips for March grant application, and it's on the screen now. Mindset reminder, you do not serve a small, mean, deficit-minded God, okay? Funding is not random. It flows where vision is clear, outcomes are measurable, preparation meets purpose. Apply strategically, submit early, track your pipeline. If you need personalized support, identifying the right grants and strengthening your applications, upgrade to the Calm Collective paid memberships at mycoachministry.com. So right before we close out, I just want to share with you, I can't even read it. So here are 5 top tips for March grant applications, right? Number 1, explore the list. 2, make a short list. Interest, based on your interest and your eligibility. Visit the links and deep dive. Learn more. What it's asking for. All the information is not on the blog because I couldn't fit everything there. But the links are provided so you can go a deep dive. Seek help if needed. Don't have to come to me for help, but find help, right? Prepare your documentation and apply. And it is my hope and my ask that please, when you apply to grants that you got here, please come back to the blog to share your thoughts in the comment section, just so we can hear how was the process. Did you win? What were the lessons? Anything. Or just to tell us, I applied, anything. I love the feedback. So this is Free Money Wednesdays. We build, we apply, we steward. All right. We build, apply, and we steward. So I'm Coach Raquel. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this program. And most of all, it is my hope and my prayer that you found it useful, that you were able to find solutions from having been here. All right. This has been Free Money Wednesdays. We're now going to go on to our next segment, our final segment, which is Allegedly. Let's go.
Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries is a global church without walls. We're serving communities through live services, prayer intervention, and outreach that changes lives. Support our $500 monthly giving drive at WAMOE.org/give. Shop with purpose at faithmerchandise.com, featuring Dr. Faith's Miracle Lemonade. Book Dr. Faith for therapy, speaking, or ministry at drfaithreborn.com. Grow through professional connection and vocational training at theexcelproject.com. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter and follow us on socials at WAMO Ministries. Become a great motivator. Help us empower minds for success in the kingdom of God.
Now, allegedly, where we slow the story down. This is about insight versus impact, learning from what we observe. Instead of paying the price ourselves, their experiences become our education. So growth doesn't have to come with damage.
Allegedly, okay? Before we begin, I want to say this clearly, all right? Before I say that, let me say this. Remember, first of all, I'm Coach Raquel. Welcome to another allegedly segment, okay? Episode of this podcast. It is my pleasure to be here with you. I'm Coach Raquel, and we're going to get into it, okay? Let's get into it. As per usual, I like to say this. From God, the purpose of us being here is not just to talk about other people's story. Pain is purpose, and so I'm very mindful of what I say, or how involved I get in other person's stories. Right? When we come here, this is where truth, opinion, and headlines meet hard questions. So welcome to Allegedly. We explore other people's experiences and their stories with the hope that we will find inspiration to do our own self-work, to become better people, better stewards, better neighbors, and have breakthroughs in our lives so we can live a fulfilling and meaningful life. That's why we're here, right? So it's not just to gossip. We're not gossiping. We're exploring the stories. So it's from gossip to growth. But I do understand that some of the stories may sound like gossip, but even when it does, we're using the gossip for growth. We're using the stories for inspiration, motivation, disruption, so we can do some self-work to grow and advance. Because when we grow and we advance, the world grows and the world advances, right? Change begins with us. Now, before we begin, I want to say this clearly. This segment is not a dismissal of illness, friendship, or compassion. It is not a defense of Jeffrey Epstein or anyone else discussed here, or any alleged criminal conduct. This is a conversation about projected obligation, privacy, precedent, and emotional overreach. We can care deeply about harm and still ask structural questions. Those things are not mutually exclusive. So that's what we're doing. But before I go ahead, let me share the fair use, because I'm going to be using clips that were not originally mine. So, copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, now we're going to get into the conversation, the heart of the matter. All right. There are a couple of things that I want to go through in this episode. So I want to make sure that I'm moving through, not necessarily quickly, but in a timely way. Now, right, this clip I'm about to play right now is where you're going to be hearing about Tyra and Miss J, who worked together for years, I think since she was 16 or something like that. And then the fact that he was reportedly ill, is reportedly ill. I think he's on the recovery, on the mending. And then the online commentary suggesting that she has shown poor behavior for not showing up according to what they're going to be saying. So again, like I said, I'm not reacting to his illness. I'm reacting to the entitlement, or how I see it, the entitlement I perceive that's being projected onto her. So let's now go to the clip.
The thing that's really unfortunate around Tyra sending Miss J one text is it came way after Jay was out of the hospital. He was in a coma for 5 months, roughly, and then in the hospital for almost a year and a half. She's been in New York a ton. She's on all these shows, Victoria's Secret fashion show, making time to go by for a few hours to sit with the man in the hospital. I can probably say what everybody is thinking. It's just really poor behavior. And I know where it comes from, if I'm gonna be really honest with you. There's a level of fear that she doesn't want to face some things. And I'm just gonna be honest, she's stuck it out. Jay is getting stronger every day. He can get out of that chair. That's what people don't know. At the time of the documentary, he couldn't. He can. He can take steps. And look, if anyone is gonna walk again, it's Miss J. Miss J one text is it.
To me, this feels so heavy, so heavy, so heavy. All right, so I'm going to start this by saying it this way. And like I said, I'm not addressing sickness. I'm just, I don't know, this sounds so overwhelming for me. Like, I think sometimes we become so entitled that we lose complete focus or awareness that people are living their own lives. And I'm guilty of it too, you know? I remember I had a very close friend who, I think she was having her fibroids removed and she was in the hospital. But based on what I was going through at the time, my financial challenges, my mental challenges, I was just at a place, of rebuilding because I had crashed out. And I remember I wasn't able to go to see her in the hospital at all. And I remember feeling so guilty because I felt like I had to choose between her, visiting her, and myself. And I feel like I've carried a guilt for that. And I've had to sit with myself and say, no, we're not going to carry a guilt for that. We're going to let that go. I remember there was a very, very close friend of mine from university. And she was getting married and she invited me to the wedding. And I was not able to go. Again, I was having a lot of struggles, because I was by myself. I had no support system, unlike they have support system, I don't have any. And I just didn't want to show up because one of the things for me was a lot of my life, I showed up just looking the worst, being the worst, braving, the worst. I didn't really have good clothes or someone back here. I was always in this struggle mode. And that time it was a wedding, and based on she's from the upper society, so to speak, and I just didn't want to be the one out of form. I was always used to the rebel piglets, I am at this place and I show up and I look out of shape. Like I'm the one who just looks like rags. And this time I just didn't want to have that because I was going through my own stuff. And I remember there was this young lady who was my neighbor once, very friendly with each other, but I think her mother passed and she invited me to the funeral and I just could not make it because I was going through depression, terrible depression. I was going through a lot and I just couldn't make it. And I remember she visited me and she was like, I can't believe you didn't come. I don't care if you didn't. And like the only person who never expressed disappointment to me was my friend who did the fibroid surgery, the surgery to remove the fibroid, the one for the wedding man. And I love Kelly, and I love you so much, and I'm so sorry I missed the wedding. And I'm sorry I didn't call you to let you know what the challenges I was feeling. But let me tell you what I love about you, man. Lovely, lovely Kelly. Let me tell you what I love about you. This girl looks me directly. I remember, I think she invited me, it was to TGI Fridays, TGIF, and she's like, I didn't need anybody there like I wanted you there. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was that important to you. And she was like, what do you mean? She was like, I was so miserable today because I needed you there, you know? And I understand, and I love that she was so frank, so direct with me, you know, and she never accepted none of my reasons. And I love her for it. Love her for it, because she was honest, she was true, and she told me exactly, there was no animosity. She was just telling me exactly how she felt, and I love her so much. She's one of my angels, and I love her so much, right? And I remember the other one, the young lady whose mom passed, she was so sad. And I'm really, really sorry that I disappointed you, my darling Kim. I'm so sorry that I disappointed you. I didn't even feel like I was choosing. I was so depressed at the time. I was in such deep depression that I wasn't even making a choice, you know? And the poverty that surrounded me, it was just so much for me. I felt like, because before I would push through, crawl through to be there for persons, because I love to support people. But in those moments, I didn't have a choice. I felt like my circumstances chose for me. With my friend who was doing the fibroid surgery, I decided I can't. I'm not going to be able to, and I'm just not going to be able to. And from that thing with the person with the fibroid, I had that thing, not because the person made me feel any way, but for me personally, the way I took it, I didn't like how I took it. I held myself accountable when I knew I did the best I could. And I remember after that, I sat with myself and I said, listen, we're going to do away with shame. We're going to do away with feeling sad because you're walking in truth. No, you're going to choose you unapologetically. You're going to choose you even if it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. You know, he spoke about fear, like like as though Tyra has fear. Okay, so if you know why she's not coming, what's the problem? You know, he said something for me that I think was it was very problematic when he said poor behavior. And the reason I think it's important to have these discussions is young people are listening and sending the message that you have certain obligations, where you choose others over yourself, where you have to show up because, first of all, where is the contract? Where is the contractual agreement that Tyra has with this young man? I'm not talking about his sickness. I'm talking about projected obligations. Yes, they work together, but work is a contract. He was compensated. Yes, they had proximity. Yes, they had a history. He's been working with her since she started her career as a model, since she was a teenager, I think 16 or 17, and he's worked with her. He was compensated, and his affiliation with her bore fruits that he benefited from and he enjoyed. But professional relationships are not does not lead to personal obligation. Please, let's remember, employees get paid, affiliates benefit mutually, and access is part of the job. Professional proximity is not a lifetime emotional contract. Let's remove the professional, since we want to say, okay, maybe they were friends. First of all, if our relationship was a business relationship, and through that business relationship we were social, we were friendly, we were all of that, it is still a business relationship. And even in the case of a social relationship, that is still not a contract. It's a choice. You can value someone, you can appreciate someone, But appreciation is not obligation. And I just don't like the way it's being put on her. It's one thing to say, man, I really hope she had gone. Not hope, but I wish she had gone there. And I hope she contacted him. It would have been really nice. But that's not what he's saying. He is holding her feet to the fire. It comes very close to bullying to me. To me. And you're gonna talk about, oh, she's going around here, that's her business. That's her business. She chooses her priorities. You don't know why she chose that. And again, if you mention there might be fear, then you should understand. Let me play it. I think that's what she...
By for a few hours to sit with the man.
Hold on. To go by for a few hours to sit with the man. Illness does not create ownership. Let's slow down here. Illness deserves compassion. That she even texted was a big step. At least she texted. She didn't have to text either. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she's depressed. Maybe she just don't feel like it. And maybe she's struggling based on what you said. Illness deserves dignity. Illness deserves privacy. Who determines who must show up? Who determines that? What obligates her legally or morally? Are we weaponizing someone's sickness here? Are we? Compassion cannot be coerced. It comes across to me like emotional bullying, like they're lashing her, whipping her. Care that is demanded is not care, it is control. It's control. And you know what I also want to say? What is happening between the young man, the man and Tyra is their business. How did you become the spokesperson for that? That's their relationship. Why are you inserting yourself? That's their relationship. I understand you're looking on and you're thinking, but we worked together, all of these things. And people like to say, oh, but I did this. You were compensated. You were compensated. That was the trade. You got to be affiliated with her for the time that you were. There were benefits. There's this public discipline culture that has been birthed from this entitlement that we think we have against people. This entitlement that people that we seem to be demanding from people, demanding things from people. This entitlement that we have towards people. Sorry. What does poor behavior mean? I think the spaces where poor behavior should be used is between parents and children, in the school, on the school grounds. I don't even think poor behavior belongs in the workplace. These are adults, independent people. I don't think poor behavior belongs in the boardroom, in the workplace. Poor behavior. What does that mean? Poor according to who? You? Who are you? In the context of this, who are you? It's their relationship. Based on what poor behavior, based on what contract? She is not a spouse, as far as we know. She's not his mother, as far as we know. She is not his caretaker, as far as we know. She is not financially responsible for him, as far as we know. Courtesy is kindness. Obligation is contract. Those are not the same thing. Those are not the same. Courtesy is kindness. Obligation is contract. Those are not the same. When did access in one season become permanent claim in another? We demand emotional labor from public figures, from people in general. We project our values onto their private lives. We perform moral outrage as if we are judges. We wrap moral stones around people's necks and call it righteousness. Compassion is beautiful. Public lashing is not. If someone works with you in one season, does that give you lifelong access to their time, emotions, affections, finances? Or are we advocating care? Are we advocating care, or are we enforcing control? We've got to really think about what we're doing. I have another clip I want to play because I was watching the documentary and this one young lady was sitting there talking, and she was expressing how she had a gap in her teeth and she didn't want to remove the gap, and she told them. And Tyra said to her, well, I have this for you, but I can't give it to you if you don't close the gap. If the gap remains, you have to go home. She even spoke with her mom, she says, reportedly on the program. And then she chose to go and close the gap. Now she's coming back to talk about how you toyed with my life consciously. Girl, you toyed with your life. You had a choice to make and you chose. Now I have this clip I want to show you. This is how you choose when you don't want to do something. Listen to this, because this is another contestant that chose as well.
Don't know. At the time of the documentary, he couldn't. He can. He all the way back.
Sir, I think you should just go show up. You show up. You sound passionate about this person, that's somebody you care about. You show up. You show up. That should be sufficient. You show up. You show up, my darling. You show up.
Again, it's
manage
Miss
your own
J.
showing
Jay's
up.
coming
Let
back.
Tara
all the way
manage
back.
hers.
Let me
You
tell
manage your own show up.
I don't know. I just don't think this is like right for me. I don't want to do it. I want to go home.
Don't you think any job interview?
Boom. Boom. Listen, let me see if I can play this
right
twice.
for me. I don't want to do it.
You just listen
All
to
the way
this.
back. Let
No,
me tell you.
this is it.
I don't know. I just don't think this is like right for me. I don't want to do it. I want to go home.
Don't you think any
Simple.
job interview?
Simple.
But I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And I just... Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah, that's the one.
See? This clip comes across to me very distasteful. I don't know if they were acting or this was real. Why wouldn't you want persons to know the power of saying no and walk away? See, they don't want to have that conversation. And they don't have to have that conversation because nobody has to want to empower you. They want you to come so you can serve, so they can get you working for them. Fine. The world can advocate for what's important to the world. But you need to know that when the world makes its decision, that's the world's decision. You are still obligated to participate and make your own decision. Hear what she said? She's had millions thrown at her to do things she doesn't want to do. And my understanding from what she kept saying, where she was going, is to say, I didn't do it. I turned it down, but he stopped her.
It's open dialogue.
Yeah, you want me to keep talking about it?
Wow. Why don't we want young people to know that, hey, you can say no to millions. You can say no to top model position. You can say no. And when you don't say no, the consequences are on you because you're making a choice. You're making a choice.
Talk about anything,
But don't do it.
yeah, I just
Catch that.
no, of course.
Wow. Remember, the world is thinking for the world. The world is not thinking for you. The world is not advocating for you. The world is the world. You have to represent yourself. You have to make sure your own interest is represented. You have to make sure that you do your own due diligence. You have to advocate for yourself. Nobody is obligated to advocate for you. That's your job. Tyra, even on the top model thing, it's not Tyra's place to hold your hand. It's not her place to hold your hand. Let me go back to what I said. Kindness. Courtesy is kindness, not obligation. Courtesy is kindness, not obligation. Courtesy is kindness. Obligation is contract. They're not the same. Those two are not the same. So be careful how you're showing up with expectations from other people who have no obligations to you, no contracts to be obligated to you. I'm obligated in a generic way to the man who I agreed to marry. In a lifespan way, in an overall way, I completely and thoroughly, without question, I'm obligated to that person because there's a contract, there's an agreement. And also to someone I give birth to. But outside of that, all my agreements are based on the agreements that we make in that regard. And to expect more from someone, more than they are able to give. You see, sometimes I sit back and I realize, like, even in our daily lives and even in my business persons, I will say, here's a system to address that, but you're calling me to address it. Now, what are you trying to do? You are choosing you. You can't be bothered to go over there. So what? You're going to force me to become subjected to you, to serve you, without any care about how this impacts me. About the fact that when you called me rather than go to the system, you are now imposing on my time. How do you know I'm not busy? Do you understand the sacrifices I make when I stop to give you time? Because that's the flip side too, where you do have some persons who sometimes you go the extra mile for, and they don't even realize the value of that extra mile, to the point where because you give them extra mile 1 month, they want it for the next 11 months of the year. I can change any time. I can use my time how I want to. I can sit and have absolutely nothing doing, but I still cannot take your call because I'm busy doing nothing with myself. And that's not something for me to be hated for. It's something you should respect, because you should do that yourself. We're out here making demands of people. Can people make those demands of you? And you be okay with it? No. You would not be okay with it. So we really need to stop. Now we're going to go on to the shock, privacy, and precedent of it all. We're now going to go on to the whole Epstein and our children. Because to me, honestly, this whole Epstein thing, saga, I think I hear Epstein's name too much. We make him too important. What I want to hear is the children, who I want to remember are the real victims. And listen, who is a victim? Who truly is a victim? We go back to choices. Anyway. I feel like I've heard Epstein's name one too many times, and I still don't know the victims. Were the kids that were involved here, the unknown, unnamed. Is this really about Epstein? Or is there something more sinister going on? Let's hear the clips.
You got over 70,000 men in the group chat talking about what they did to their wives, children, community members, and it's some of the most vile things you can ever think about.
What does that have to do with Epstein? Let's keep going.
I cannot wrap my mind around the fact 70,000 men
70,000
are active daily
reportedly.
users
I wasn't
of
there.
a community that targets women and children in
My God.
assault.
I'm done. I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children. I'm done. I don't want to send more black and brown men to prison. I don't want more people in prison, but I don't want people buying girls. I don't want people buying little girls anymore. And I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it.
Mr. Chopra, sir, how are you? Sir, I've got to ask you, listen, sir, you built your entire career. You built your entire career on spirituality. What do you have to say about your actions with Epstein? Any regrets? Do you have any regrets? I said, do you have any regrets about your relationship with Epstein? What's that? You want me to decide? No, I'm asking you, sir.
Who's here? Then I think finally here also. And son, my tongue.
I'm not a mother. There are many reasons I'm not a mother. I've said this multiple times. I'd have to be called to something greater and higher to be a mother. God bless mothers. Because I'm not strong enough to do it. But let's keep going, because you see, we keep getting stuck on Epstein. Let's keep going.
Thank you.
Who had the most contact with Jeffrey Epstein during his final decade? At The Economist, we have analyzed 1.4 million of Jeffrey Epstein's emails. We found the 500 figures who appear most often and analyzed their relationships with the sex offender, building a picture of the people in consistent contact with Epstein after he pled guilty to soliciting sex from a minor. This is a list of some of the most well-known figures that appear in Epstein's emails. David Stern, an aide to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, Larry Summers, the former U.S. Treasury Secretary, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate who's been convicted of sex trafficking minors, were all in consistent contact with Epstein. Our data shows that some people were emailing with Epstein hundreds of times a month, like the physicist Lawrence Krauss and the banker Ariane de Rothschild. To understand just how much Epstein's network reached into almost every area of society, we've also divided the top 500 people by their industry. If you exclude Epstein's emails with his staff and business partners, 19% of messages with his top correspondents were with financiers, like Jess Staley, the former CEO of Barclays. 17% were in academia, like the immunologist Boris Nikolic. There were politicians like Peter Mandelson, Britain's former ambassador to the US, and Ehud Barak, Israel's former prime minister. And people from media and entertainment, including the publicist Peggy Siegel, the journalist Michael Wolff, and the filmmaker Woody Allen. The list also contains at least 18 current or former billionaires, including Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. All of them were in touch with Epstein after his plea admitting to sex offenses in 2008. Most of Epstein's correspondents say they didn't know about the scale of his crimes. In such a vast data dump, the quantity of emails alone doesn't give you the full picture of the nature of their relationships. So we mapped the number of emails sent and received. Ariane de Rothschild sent many more emails to Epstein than she received. Lawrence Krauss and Epstein sent similar numbers of emails to each other. Some people received far more emails than they sent, like Bill Gates, who was bombarded by messages between 2014 and 2016 and replied to relatively few. He was, however, happy to meet Epstein in person on a number of occasions. This analysis gives you an insight into Epstein's relationships and network after his plea deal. but many emails also detail the ongoing abuse of women and girls. We also used a large language model to score every message on how disturbing it is. And buried among 1 million mundane missives are over 1,000 that our LLM flagged as highly worrisome. Watch our next video for more analysis of Epstein's network.
These are the countries with the most missing children. Pay close attention and check where your country appears on the list, because often we just see headlines like this and move on without really noticing, but the numbers are shocking. Italy has 21,951 missing children each year. South Korea reports 25,690 missing children annually. Brazil has around 40,000 missing children each year. France records about 40,989 missing children annually. Russia reports approximately 45,000 missing children every year. Canada follows closely with 45,288 missing children annually. India has about 96,000 missing children each year. Germany sees roughly 100,000 missing children annually. The United States tops the list with about 460,000 missing children annually, which means nearly 2,300 children go missing every single day. So what are the causes of these missing children? Are they being used for something else? Or are they being kidnapped and kept somewhere? Or what exactly is causing this?
Okay, let me say this up front. This is not a defense of Jeffrey Epstein. Allegations of abuse, trafficking, exploitation, those are serious, devastating claims. All right? Okay. Whew. 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 I feel like we literally sat and watched this person they call the Dalai Lama, whatever you want to call him. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's religion or anything. But I sat and watched a child being sexually assaulted. Suck my tongue. Good God. And the crowd cheers. But we're here talking about Jeffrey Epstein's emails. That's what we're going to be talking about. What I'm questioning is something else. What precedent are we setting in the name of outrage? I'm sharing on the screen some data I pulled based on that last video I just showed you about the missing children. Again, I say this. I keep hearing Jeffrey Epstein, email this, email that. Why is that the focus? What is happening here? What is happening here, really? What exactly is happening here? And all of us, before we start talking about outrage, hey little girl, each time you pass my way, I am tempted to touch. You remember that song? I know this little girl, her name is Maxine. Her face is like a bunch of roses. You know that one? Before we start projecting, what did I say this segment was about? Self-work. Become the change, because we've got make us strong, God, so we can walk in your truth and stop walking around this place with political correctness, thinking for in some way it makes us morally, it puts us on some moral high ground, and we're so righteous. We're none of us. We're all responsible, all of us. People we keep talking about how the world is, but you keep giving birth. Why are we bringing children into this world? Why? Why? Until we can can create a world where they will be safe. Why? What's the justification? If you had a company that was failing, that was running out of financial resources, would you continue to hire people? No, you would not. You would not. You would have to reset, refocus, recalibrate, readjust. Before you do, but sex, I guess sex is good. I wouldn't even know. I haven't had enough to know. Still waiting on my orgasm. I'm just saying. We're all complicit. We're all complicit. I am a coward. The only innocent here are the kids, the ones who did not make a choice or was not within the power to make a choice. We have to get to a place where we are willing to take the risk to die rather than choose to stay a slave, to stay in abuse. The innocent kids. We don't even know if for real, well, for those who have checked the emails, they've seen things. I don't know if these emails are real or not. I don't think the emails are the important thing, but that's what we're talking about, so let's talk. So the shock creates consent. Shock creates consent. Let's think about that for a second. When a case is shocking enough, the public stops asking structural questions. You see, we're so focused on the email list and its kids being eaten and the outrageousness of it all. And I'm not saying it's a lie. The headlines are egregious. The details are disturbing. The emotional temperature is everlastingly high. It's high. But when something is this inflammatory, what slips through quietly. But when something is this inflammatory, what slips through quietly? What legal processes are expanded? What privacy lines are crossed? Because shock lowers scrutiny. Just bear with me here. All I'm asking you to do is think outside the box. Just ask yourself some questions. If we're really caring about kids, why are we talking about email lists? Why aren't we talking about the amount of arrests that were made and the amount of kids that were rescued and the amount of systems that's being put in place to protect? Why isn't that the conversation? We're talking about millions of emails. So here's the email questions that I have. How are millions of emails accessed? How? Under what warrant? Under what warrant? What legal standard? Under what legal standard? What protections exist? Where is the boundary between criminal investigation and digital overreach? I'm not arguing that evidence shouldn't be collected. I'm asking what protects the rest of us. If the state can access everything for someone we all despise, what safeguards ensure they can't overreach for someone less hated? Precedent and power. Bad actors often become justification for expanded authority. Here are some examples. The Patriot Act expansion after 9/11. Surveillance increases after crisis events. Data retention laws expanding quietly. Are we paying attention to the legal architecture or only the spectacle? I'm just asking. Precedent doesn't disappear when the villain does. See, I'm still asking. If this is about protecting kids, if this is about the crime, why are we talking about, why is the email list the top priority? Why is that the conversation? Why isn't the new laws in place for kids the major conversation? Why isn't the focus groups that they're now hosting? Why aren't the arrests of these perpetrators what we're discussing? Why aren't the victims being discovered and recovered and protected the focus of the conversation? Because you see, this is not by accident. None of this is accidental. It's all calculated, in my opinion. All strategic and calculated, carefully crafted, in my opinion. The slippery emotional trap. This may be a nuance, but an important one. When someone is universally condemned, we suspend concern for their rights. Don't we? But rights aren't for the righteous. And that's where I think a lot of us get in problems in this world. Because whatever you give to somebody else, no matter who they are or what they've done, the Bible did not say to love your good neighbors as you love yourself. The Bible said love your neighbors as you love yourself. You see, I interpret that verse as a protection verse. It's not about love to me. I hear God saying security, protection, justice, the well-being of your family. For these reasons, you've got to love your neighbor like you love yourself. You have to see them through love's eyes. Even to be strategic with them, you have to see them through love's eyes. To protect your family, you have to see them through love's eyes. You see, some people romanticize the Bible. I don't. I pay attention to it. I listen. I pay attention. Yeah? When someone is universally condemned, we suspend concern for their rights. But rights aren't for the righteous. They exist to limit power. They exist to limit power. Because who's really the puppet master? Epstein? What if the same persons throwing Epstein to the wolves are the same people who created an Epstein? And they're the same people with the power in the system. Now, what if the same people who manufactured Epstein, ran Epstein, is the same person who threw him to the wolves and are the same people in the power? Don't we want to ensure that we at the very least limit their power or are in awareness of how they're moving? I mean, I don't know anything. I'm just looking at it all and I'm just like, It's not by accident that this email list is what everybody's talking about. Another distraction. And it is so reflective of what happened with Sean Combs. And it's just these distraction after distraction. It's like this, it's almost like this rage baiting on this global scale. It's how it feels to me. I could be wrong. Civil liberties are tested on the people we dislike most. That's my opinion. It is my opinion that civil liberties are tested on the people we dislike most. It is almost a guaranteed win. This is not sympathy. This is systems thinking. We've got to pay attention to what's happening. While we're busy over here in rage, what are they busy over here cooking up that we later will have to live with? Our kids will have to live with. If due process, privacy, and legal limits can erode in cases that shock us, how do we make sure those limits still protect innocent people? Are we so focused on the horror that we're missing the architecture being built behind it? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Because I'm not hearing, oh my God, kids, let's look for kids. The kids are not what this whole thing is. We're not hearing about kids. Oh, the list and the list and the list. And we saw them eat kids and we saw them do that. Where, I'm not saying I don't want to hear that or that's not important. I'm just saying, to me, there was a time that when I heard of a crime, it was someone got arrested, the police did this, they've been arrested, a court date is set, the media comes on. That's not what I'm hearing here. It's this horror house that's happening. Meanwhile, nobody can truly say, okay, this is a victim, that is a victim, this is what's being put in place to handle it. It's this game. It feels like there's this toying with you thing that's happening. This puppeteering that's happening. Are kids really involved here? Because where is the protest to present the bodies, to present the names, to where's the advocacy for actual victims? Where are the names of the victims? I don't know. Maybe something is wrong with me. But if something happened to my child, my focus is going to be, where is my child? What happened to my child? And where are the perpetrators that's going to be held accountable for what happened? This is like the biggest, it's like the biggest secret that's being told to the world, but it remains a secret. it's like the biggest story come to bump, but there's still no story. It's like this magic trick, and if you stay so caught up in it, you won't even realize that all you're doing is regurgitating the same talking points. How did they access 3 million emails? How did they access somebody's 3 million emails? How do you do that? How do you access someone's 3 million? Who counted it? Who was counting? You know, one of the things I've sat and asked myself, how long have ChatGPT existed? I mean, we only just got it. We're just hearing about AI now, but how long have those things been in existence? And who's had it and been using it all along? And then decided, oh, let's share it with them now. And what else do they have going on that we don't know yet? We don't know yet. See? I have one more thing to show you, and then I'm going to close this segment. I don't think when God said to be fruitful and multiplied, he meant without wisdom, without moderation, without conscience, without understanding, without, being guarded, without, structure and system and security for your kids. I really, truly think it's a time for fertility to pause, for the world to look at itself and reset, recalibrate, and to something needs to happen, because as it is right now, it's a swamp. Fertility should not be something, or procreation should not just be something everyone just gets up and do. It should be thoughtfully created, or thoughtfully considered based on where you are and what's happening, to make sure that the world you're bringing that child into will be wholesome. But the kind of the world stage that I'm looking at is just troublesome to me. The policies, the systems that they will have to live under and operate within. That man told that kid to suck his tongue. A kid, not his wife, a kid. And the audience cheered. And we're shocked about Epstein? And then we're talking about, oh, the Dalai Lama, and we're talking about, what's the other spiritual person? I played the video, I don't even remember his name. They're not obligated to you, and they know it. Let me tell you something. People will tell you what they feel like telling you, but they know what the truth is. You can't hold up Deepak Chopra's hand to God. Your responsibility with your soul is your responsibility, not his. We're the ones who give people titles. Prince. And now all of a sudden, because he's involved in this thing, he's ex-prince. No, he was a prince when he did it. A prince did it. The world needs to know that he wore that tag when he did it. So there's nothing special about no prince. What is a prince? What is a prince? What is a prince? Because I don't care about your title. I care about your humanity. Prince. What is that? What is that? A word. It's an English word. That's it. It's a word. Means nothing. Clearly means nothing. No, you want to ex-prince him. No. He's not just prince when you approve his behavior, or when it works in your favor, because you approve all his behaviors. But now, you see, you don't like how it's now impacting you. So you want, no, it's ex-prince. That's not how prince. No, he's a prince. He's every bit a prince, and he's operating like a prince does. So don't come remove but ex-prince. No. He's the Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, with all he's been accused of. Prince Andrew. He's a prince, and he's still a prince. Young people, look at what prince look like and what princes do. And so the next time someone tried to make you feel like you're not good enough, just remember what princes do. And I'm not saying all princes do this, but I don't know that they don't. I do not know that they don't. Okay? And I don't hear anybody coming out here and say, well, he was a prince. That's what some princes do. You see, they like to clean it up and leave you feeling badly about yourself. You're not skinny enough. You're not beautiful enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. Next thing you know, you have people running trains on you while this wealthy man watches, and that's the life you choose, while all the while saying you're the most beautiful. You are the high value woman. I'm the high value woman. I am high value. Because the reason I'm high value is because if any woman has high value, then we all have high value. All of us. Because there's not one of us that's innocent. We are all flawed human beings. But these titles, haven't we seen by now that the titles don't bring anything extra to them? The only thing their titles give them is access to what we have. That's it. Access to our resources, our mindset, our strength, our energies. All their titles do is hinder us. All their titles do is make us seem less. When the truth of the matter is, we are all the same. At the same level. We're all mere human beings. And thank God for those who truly try to serve God for real, who try to love their neighbors as they love themselves, who try to really truly show up, because listen, we're all human beings. Don't let anybody's title fool you. You know, there's this clip with a lady with some babies on her back, and I just have to, I'm going to leave it here because I just cannot. I found the picture, this video, just as painful as I find the contents of whatever they say is in these Epstein emails, because abuse to me is just abuse, and this looks like abuse to me.
Are they being used for something else? Or are they being kidnapped and kept somewhere? Or what exactly is causing this?
Is this abuse? Let's go.
Hang on, sweetheart. Here we go. Let's sit for you. There it is. Easy now. We're almost done. I'm almost right here.
Look at the two at the bottom. I'm not even mad at her. I'm not criticizing her. I'm just saying, my God, our kids. One, two, three, four, five. The two at the bottom. I can't even. I'm trying to figure out if the two at the bottom is like a Siamese twin. Is that what I call them when they're together? If there's just one body and two heads. And I'm wondering, is this video real? I'd be so happy to hear this was an AI video. I pray to God it's not real. Because the stress on these kids. We've got to do better by our kids. Kids. Anyway, I want to say that. Where is it? I want it to be clear that I'm not trying to frighten anyone. I'm not trying to. I just want to say this as I close this segment. This allegedly. Segment episode explores public expectation, or it explored public expectation, projected obligation, and questions about privacy precedent, right? It is not a dismissal of illness or a defense of any alleged criminal conduct. The goal is thoughtful cultural analysis, not personal attack. All right? Because culture is not accidental. Systems are not accidental. The way of life is structured, it's not accidental. And I think we should be asking questions. And I commend everyone who I mention in this program. I want to thank you for your experience, your mistakes, your errors, your whatever. That I know because of it, I'm becoming more and more mindful about my own activities, my own thoughts, my own actions, who I become, who I am being, how I'm showing up. So for that, I thank you. Yeah, because I don't just want to talk about what happened and then never stop to learn anything, because change begins with me. Change begins with me. And I want to cultivate a kind of environment around myself that when people encounter me, when they leave, they feel as though there should be some sense of God is a good God. God is real. God is still here. God is with us. We're not alone. Right? That's my hope, that their experience with me would have them feeling that way when they leave, or at least having those thoughts when they leave. It shouldn't be, oh my God, I'm so broken because I interacted with Raquel. I'm so stressed out. I just feel so sick. I just feel oh my God, I got shock and awe. I don't want that. So all of these stories I go through to inspire my own self-work, because I need that mindfulness. The things that I may not be thinking about, that may not cross my way. These things help me to think about that, so I can do my self-work to become a better person, or to become my best self. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Please like, share, comment, and leave a comment. If you didn't like something, let me know. If you liked something, let me know. However you felt about it, please share, let me know. Thank you so much, and I wish you nothing but the best. So thank you so much. Thank you. This has been Allegedly.
Welcome to mycoachministry.com. We're on a mission to empower 1 million purpose-driven entrepreneurs, turning calling into currency. Through strategic coaching, we guide visionary leaders, brand elevation, and creative empowerment, helping leaders break barriers and own their identity. Build impactful, wealth-generating brands that echo across generations.
We've come to the end of today's show, and I'm telling you, it was heavy. It was so heavy, okay? I'd like to share one of my prayers at this time. Whew. Wow, this episode was so heavy, so heavy. I don't usually do this, but I feel like I need to read a prayer, you know? Wow, and it opened that seeking protection. Ah, gosh. Whew, my book, Prayers by Raquel Reese, is on Amazon. Okay, this is the one I'm going to read. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Let me tell you why I'm going to share this, because at the end of the day, for me, at the end of the day, no matter what a human being has done, at the end of the day, I always go back to, but God. You see, I think sometimes we find it easier to hold mankind accountable, but we don't hold God accountable. I hold God accountable. And Lord, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or pass my place, but I'm your child, and you sent me here. I don't know why I'm here. I'm just trying to figure it out. We're just dancing together. And I'm just trying to go, because there are things that God told me that I know I didn't lie. And I've had to question myself, like, how could God tell you this? This is not treating you kindly. I talked to you about earlier about working on my emotional strength, right? Like even love. Like, anyway, I'm just saying there are things that I know God told me and I did not lie about it. I know I'm not lying. I know it's not some other voice. I know it wasn't temptation. I know God told me. I've sat with myself on things like, you sure God? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. God did tell me that. And he told me multiple times, and he keeps reminding me that he told me. And it's not operating in a way that I would think something God said and God did should operate. And I'm saying that to say, at the end of the day, I always go back to, but there is a God. And I know in my soul, in the evidence, there is a God. So it's bigger than man. I don't know what it is, why God would allow some of these things to happen. But all I have to do is keep doing my self-work. Because if he makes me aware of it, then there's something that I need to do. And I just keep trying to figure it out and try to walk. I try so hard to walk in the obedience of God, even when it hurts me, even when it makes me feel sick, even when it makes me feel like you're forcing yourself on this person, or even when it feels that way. If God said that, still try to do what God told me to do. Even when I have to cry after doing what God told me to do. Because God hardened Pharaoh's heart. I never forget that part in the Bible where it said God hardened. Keep telling the people to go to Pharaoh, and he knew he hardened Pharaoh's heart. My God. So if I'm going to hate any man, any woman, any person, I first have to hate God. Because at the end of the day, there is a God. At the end of the day, but God. Whatever that means, but God. Anyway. Thy will be done. Dear Father God, please let your Holy Spirit fill my life, my heart, and my mind. Let your light shine through me, God. Let your love surround and protect me. Let your love overflow in me, Jehovah. Lord, I thank you for loving me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for providing for me. I love you. I worship you. I honor you. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven in my life. Now I'm going to read it the way I actually originally wrote it, because when I wrote the book, I wrote the prayers as though I was praying. But if you watch my story about how I wrote this book, you know I was praying for somebody else. Now I'm not going to say the person's name. I'm going to replace it with a different name. Dear Father God, please let your Holy Spirit fill X's life, his heart and mind. Let your light shine through him, through X, God. Let your love surround and protect X. Let your love overflow in X, Jehovah. Lord, I thank you for loving X. Thank you for supporting X. Thank you for providing for X. I love you. I worship you. I honor you. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven in X's life. That's how I actually wrote the book. But I didn't publish it that way because I didn't have permission. And there were just so many things that, stuff, that unfinished stuff. The writing of the book has been a process, and it's still not end. It's been a process, and it continues to be a process, because there's just how God works is just not how man imagines it, based on my experience. Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching Refresh, Relax, Renew. This is episode 38. I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful that God would use me to steward this, assign me to this particular project. And it's been an honor of mine. I love it. I enjoy it. And it inspires me. I can only hope that you'll watch long enough for it to inspire you too. Thank you so much for watching, and have the best month, the best year, the best day. I'm Coach Raquel. Mwah. Goodbye.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Raquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.
I love to open new packages. I want to give you the latest information on the top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding. Come along with me. I'm Coach Raquel, and this is a passion project for me, so I'm so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.